The DA has criticised President Cyril Ramaphosa for what it says is a lack of urgency in dealing with a response to the country's electricity crisis. The party wants a report on the Koeberg nuclear power plant and action that will be taken to salvage the plant's life extension project in order to prevent a possible collapse of the power grid. It says the ongoing challenges at Koeberg, as well as the maintenance problems at some of the other coal-powered stations, is testament to a power plant management process that's in crisis. Let's get you more on this. Bring in our reporter, Athi Mtongana. And Athi, you've been speaking to the DA leaders. What are they telling you about exactly what it is they want to hear from the president?
You would know, Temekile, that the Democratic Alliance today held a press briefing outlining some of the actions that they want to be taken by the executive, particularly, of course, the power utility, as well as the ministers responsible for this situation that the country finds itself in, which is load shedding. I'm joined by the DA's Kevin Mileham. Thank you so much for your time. Now, part of the issues that you discussed in that briefing was the lack of agency or the slow pace by President Cyril Ramaphosa to actually act on the response that he announced not so long ago.
That's correct. He announced an energy response plan on the 25th of July, and we are very, very concerned that not much has happened since then. So, for example, there's this National Electricity Crisis Committee, and apart from a photo opportunity for the media, there's been very little action steps or measurables or any key deliverables or timetables announced as to what they are doing to address the crisis. So we've implemented a tracker where we have identified all the promises that were made by President Ramaphosa, and we're tracking that. And based on that tracker, his energy response plan is failing dismally.
Now, Kevin, it's not the first time, Mr. Mileham, that I've interviewed you in response to the energy crisis in South Africa. And since then, I'm wondering, as an opposition party, what you've done then up to today to try and assist with what a lot of people are really quite, to put it frankly, annoyed with, load shedding.
Sure. So one of the things that we've done is, in the municipalities where we govern, we're taking active steps to ensure that those municipalities are, as far as possible, less reliant on Eskom. So you will have seen that, for example, the City of Cape Town has issued a request for proposals to generate 300 megawatts of electricity. Stellenbosch has made great strides in that regard. Ekurhuleni has just signed 47 power purchase agreements with independent power producers to obtain additional electricity outside of Eskom. So that's the one thing. Cape Town recently announced some steps where they are allowing industrial and commercial users to feed back into the grid, and they will be paid for that. And they hope to roll that out to residential consumers before the end of the year. So there's a lot of action steps that we are taking to make our municipalities and make our residents less reliant on Eskom, because we can't count on Eskom to supply the electricity that we need. At the same time, by doing that, it gives Eskom the space that it needs to maintain its own power plants. Because if they don't have to generate as much electricity, they can turn off a unit and do the necessary repairs to that unit, instead of having those things being run flat out all the time and then tripping or unplanned outages.
Kevin, I'd like to keep you for much longer, but we're running out of time. Thank you so much. Kevin Mileham from the Democratic Alliance. Temekile, we know that the country is really pressed with the ongoing rolling blackouts at Eskom, and some of the issues that were highlighted by the Democratic Alliance speak to the urgency of government to try and take the country out of these dark times.
Athi Mtongana, thank you very much for that update from Cape Town.